what's up guys, Sinewy here. Welcome back to the channel. It is finally time for my long awaited installment, or the next installment of Sinewy Answers Questions. I'm finally bringing it back after, what was the last one, like almost 8 months ago. So here's the thing, I cannot say about every question. I can't really answer every single question, but if you have little smaller questions, I did actually post this on my community tab. I'm actually wanting to start a little short series, so type in 4 shorts and do like little questions about Fortnite down below, or in other videos going forward saying questions for shorts. So let's see what you guys want me to answer for you all. So the first question here says, do you think you'll ever get into Save the World? Well, here's the thing, I more or less do Save the World only for the V-Bucks. I'm just like, I think I'm like level 225 right now in there, because I've been playing Save the World for a long time, as I've just said. I only do it for the V-Bucks because I actually do have Founders Edition, so I do get that little benefit of getting V-Bucks, you know, for just playing that game normally. And also it actually helps a lot when it comes to getting XP and Battle Royale, which is really good. And more or less for like the Save the World cosmetics, there's not a lot of them which are really enticing. Like, I think I'm actually at the laser pick, and I'm pretty sure I'm like 1 level away from actually getting the axe hammer. I think that's what it's called. I don't know if I should actually go for it, because I would have to like grind out like a bunch of Save the World pretty much I have to play it like non-stop every day at this point, just so that then I can get a pickaxe, which I most likely will never use. Like, I know there's some other cosmetics in there, like I believe some music packs, and I think there's a few sprays. Obviously there's a bunch of banners, which I do have some banners but not a lot of them. I only play Save the World for the V-Bucks, but I might get into it. I don't know. How are you liking the item shop so far? Oh boy. So I mean, you all have seen one of my most recent videos of me just rambling about the item shops, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people can still say, even after the most recent update that just came out, the item shops are god awful. I might actually make a video talking about this like a little bit later on. It might be one of my next videos here, but more or less, I do have to give them credit where credit's due. It seems like they are actually spicing up the item shops and actually bringing back stuff that actually hasn't been seen in a hot minute, but the shops are just so confusing, so messy, and there is still barely any change happening in them, and they're still forgetting a lot of cosmetics. I think just recently we had a bunch of Marvel skins that came back, and they didn't even have the bundles for most of them, and when they brought back some of the cosmetics, they had emotes and they didn't even sell some of them in there. Like, I remember Hulk's emote wasn't even in the item shop when he came back. I don't know why they're doing that and going in that direction, but it's really not a good direction in my opinion, and it seems like Epic has not really learned anything from any of the criticisms when it comes to the item shops, because they are still really bad. Most overrated season in your opinion, and what is your most underrated? Oh boy. So I think the most overrated season in my personal opinion, I've just got to be honest with y'all here, it's Chapter 2 Season 2. Like, don't get me wrong, the season's great, but I think it gets a little bit like too much attention. Sure, the battle pass is amazing. Sure, he had some of like the best locations inside of the game to be almost ever existed. Like, the agency is such like a loved location, but I honestly think this season just dragged, and just when you're looking back on it nowadays, I generally think it was flawed. Obviously with like the aim assist going absolutely insane on controller, the edit style controversies, especially with Golden Peely, that skin just completely ruined that season for me entirely. You pretty much had to drop all your social life and play the game 24/7 just to even attempt to get that edit style, and that is attempt. And do I even need to talk about the updates? There was barely any updates, other than like obviously some really cool, like, you know, the Travis Scott live event, that was cool, and like the chopper, and like some LTMs that came out for like a handful of like weeks. I don't know how to really feel about Chapter 2 Season 2. It's just one of those seasons that pretty much dragged on, but had some form of replayability, but I just never got the hype around it. I really never did, in my personal opinion. I'm sorry for rambling on there, but I actually had to say a lot about that, because like there's so much wrong with that season that I think it's just way too overrated, and I think it gets way too much attention. And that's why honestly I think the most underrated season in my opinion is honestly one that came out recently, and that's Chapter 4 Season 2. And this season got a lot of hate out of nowhere, and I don't understand why. Was it a perfect season? No. Did it have a lot of updates that more or less like themed around the season? Not really. However, I will say that this was a damn fun season. This was like the funnest season from last year, you know, before Chapter 4 Season 4 came out, that I actually had a really good time playing, and it kept me playing, if that makes any sense. And even at that, we had some amazing collaborations. Like, the collab updates carried this season. I think that season was just so fun. It was the definition of fun. This was the funnest season inside of Chapter 4, in my opinion. And people still don't like it. Like, that's insane to me. I mean, people obviously have their own opinions, and that's totally fine, but in my opinion, this season was amazing. Do you think McDonald's is underrated or overrated? I think it's overrated. I don't ever eat fast food, to be honest with you here, and because of inflation, like, I mean, have you seen the prices of just getting like a Big Mac, like, I think like a large fry or like a drink? I think it's like 18 or 20 bucks. Like, that's insane. You can go to like an actual diner restaurant and get something cheaper than an actual fast food restaurant nowadays, like McDonald's. Like, inflation absolutely sucks, and I think everyone can agree on that. If you had to pick one collab skin to wear until the end of Fortnite's time, both male one and a female one, who would they be and why? There's only two that come up to mind, okay? I think that arguably for males, it's Eminem. This was a collab I have been asking for forever. Ever since Travis Scott came out, I have been wanting to see Eminem in Fortnite, and when we got him in Fortnite, it blew my mind. It blew my mind away. And the whole set was just done phenomenally, but more or less the Slim Shady outfit. This is one of my favorite outfits in the game, just because this is stuff that I actually wear on a daily basis. Like, I love the clothing that he has. It's just so good. It's one of my favorite skins of all time. But for females, however, this is probably gonna shock people here, but honestly, I could care less about this here because I love this skin a lot. Lara Croft. The Lara Croft skin, I think, is one of the best Gaming Legends skins in the game. If not, she's my personal favorite. Because I feel like this skin, in my opinion, is the definition of what makes the Gaming Legends so good. And I've said it once, I'll say it again, Gaming Legends never misses. I know the skin is very sweaty, but I could care less. I love what they did with this skin. It was just a flawless skin, in my opinion. I would 100% wear this skin if I had to choose it for the rest of my life. Now, I've seen this comment here quite a bit here, and that was asking about a locker bundle. Now, obviously, I don't think I'll ever get a locker bundle. I'll just tell you that right now. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. Like, ever. A lot of people are asking, going like, hey, if you were to put, like, let's say if you wanted to put Reflex in your bundle, huh? Would you put him in your bundle and see if he's available to actually, you know, be brought back to the item shop? Or even like, hey, what would be your ideal locker bundle in general? Well, I don't want to like go like into specifics as I'd want to see, like, for if I ever had that opportunity to get a locker bundle in Fortnite, which by the way, I don't think that's ever happening. But, you know, I mean, obviously Master Minotaur, I mean, that would probably be in there. Maybe Toothpick, the Tusk Glider. I don't know. Maybe Llama Conga. I think that just makes sense because that would probably be my ideal locker bundle. I guess it would be really like cliche of me to do something like that because that's more or less like my main combo. Besides obviously the end game back bling, which goes with Bonjamin. But, you know, I think that's probably what I'd do for a locker bundle. And about Reflex, I would probably see if Reflex can be brought back, because at this point, I think they should just bring him back to the item shop. They have Stealth Reflex, which was compensation for people who did get that skin, you know, legitimately, like, through the actual codes instead of just buying Reflex through the item shop. I think that would just make more sense for us to see Reflex come out, because if people can put the pickaxe that goes with him in locker bundles, then why can't the skin? You know what I mean? Which, by the way, stay tuned for the channel because there's a video coming up which I may talk about Reflex sometime a little later on. Do you think that Travis Scott will ever return? And do you have any pets in IRL? I do think Travis Scott will return eventually. It's just a matter of when, because obviously we don't know when the skin will come back, but it's very obvious that he can return to the item shop. It was confirmed by Tim Sweeney. I made a video talking about it. If you want to go check it out, top right hand corner. The situation's really dumb and people are still claiming that the skin's never coming back, which At this point in time, I do still think that it's going to. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Hopefully we see him like return when maybe like Fortnite Festival. Maybe they can bring the set back if they do like a little collaboration with him, maybe in like the festival pass. I think that'd be a pretty cool idea. And about the pets, yes, I have 3 dogs. I have Major. He's a Great Pyrenees. He's very old. He's actually turning 8 this year. There's Maggie. She is a Rottweiler. She's actually very interesting because like she's an idiot. I gotta be honest here, but she's not as big of an idiot as Sky. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not calling my dogs like idiots because they're dumb, because no, they're very smart. But more or less with Sky, like she's obviously a pit bull, which those dogs get really bad reputations, but she's just an absolute love bug. She is one of the like most lovable dogs I think I have ever seen, and she's not even 2, which is just crazy. Like my dogs are absolutely phenomenal. Like they are phenomenal animals, and I don't want anything bad happening to them. I love my dogs because they're family. Family to me is my number 1 thing. After that, I would obviously say like obviously friends and family. You know, that's just obvious number 1. But like after that would probably be YouTube. I could care completely less what happens to this channel. As long as I have my family, that's all that matters to me. Honestly, in your opinion, what would be the worst battle pass or season you've played? Now, my least favorite battle pass of all time, I've actually spoken about this here, but it's a really big hot take, especially because of my opinions surrounding this battle pass. That's Chapter 2, Season 4. There was like 3 good things from this battle pass. The skins, some of the pickaxes, and the super styles. Other than that, everything else was just terrible. I've ranted about this in my, I think it was my battle pass ranking video, which I did on Chapter 2. This was dead last in that video for those who didn't see it. Spoilers. First off, it was a massive sellout. There was obviously the locking cosmetics like behind certain skins thing that started in this season. And not to mention there was not a single emote in this entire battle pass and only 2 gliders you can use. Like that's embarrassing. Like that is generally embarrassing. Like that's one of the worst things I've ever seen from a battle pass ever. In terms of a season, Chapter 2 Season 6. There was only one positive from this whole season, and that was literally the battle pass. I actually think that battle pass was criminally underrated. Other than that, the season was awful. It was so bad. I almost quit, by the way. I almost quit the game around the end because it was just so bad. The game was not in a good state at all. And thank goodness Chapter 2 Season 7 happened, because if that season never happened, I probably would have stopped doing YouTube videos altogether. Screw that season. What were your favorite skins / collabs that came out of Chapter 4, including Season OG? Oh, that's a really good question, because there was so many amazing skins like from Chapter 4 in general. I think some of my favorites are definitely from like Chapter 4 Season 1. Dusty and Hannah, probably my 2 favorite original skins. Pretty much any of the Dragon Ball skins I released during Chapter 4, especially Goku Black. Drop D was a really good skin. Obviously the spray skins, those were phenomenal. Michael Myers, Jack Skellington, Mr. Beast, like there were so many great skins from Chapter 4. It was insane. Like Axion Sentinel as well. Like, oh my gosh, Chapter 4, you could say what you want about it, the whole chapter in general, but I think in general, the skins that we got out of there are some of the best skins we have seen in the game, period. Is it pronounced the guy from Fortnite or Fortnite man? It's pronounced the guy from Fortnite. Let's just get that out of the way. But the actual question is, what is a collab you'd want to see the most come to Fortnite? Now, there's really only 2 that I can honestly mention here, even though I don't think this will ever happen. First one's Call of Duty. This is one I just don't ever see happening, but I would die on the hill seeing this franchise come to the game. More or less a lot like the older games. Because I grew up playing Call of Duty. My first Call of Duty I ever played was Black Ops. I stopped playing COD because of like, you know, the recent stuff that's been happening with it. It's just absolutely atrocious. But I would love to see Call of Duty come into the game. That would be a collab I would freak out over, especially if it was like a Call of Duty Zombies collab. Oh my god, I would lose it if that was in here. Or a show that I grew up watching that I would ride or die on a hill if I saw this come into Fortnite, and that's Power Rangers. Imagine a Power Rangers collab in Fortnite. Oh, that would go so hard, dude. I love Power Rangers. It's one of my favorite shows I grew up watching, and that's a collab which I don't think is ever gonna happen, but if it does, I would lose my shit. No joke. I grew up watching the shows. I even went back and saw like the older ones, which I never saw. So glad I did, because I'm a massive fan of like the old school Power Rangers, especially from like the Disney era. Oh my god, I would go crazy for that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's video. A lot of questions I answered, not a lot, but there's still a lot of other questions which I may make videos into. And again, if you want to leave some comments down below on what you want to see in the shorts, let me know down below in the comment section with some other questions. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's video. I really hope you all enjoyed it. If you did happen to enjoy this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to check out my Twitter, aka my X account. Socials are all on screen. Thank you all so much for watching. I love every single one of you. Remember everyone, it's always good to take chances.